Okay, everybody, today we're going to be talking about smoking and nicotine and whether smoking should be completely banned or should it be a matter of freedom of choice, you know. We know it's dangerous, but should we be allowed to do this because we're humans and we can choose? Okay, so would anybody like to summarise the lecture that we listened to?
Hello everyone.
No, you don't. Okay, just stop. You don't need to say hello, everyone. You just start off.
Okay. According to lecturer, cigarette is #1 major problem worldwide. Cigarette has two important substances, nicotine and tar. And
okay, stop now. When we do a summary, do we go through every little point in the lecture?
No.
Now, what we try and do is don't look at your notes. Just try and relate back what you know was in the lecture. So let me give you an example. Okay, in this lecture the woman started off by telling us that smoking was very dangerous, okay, and that nicotine was very powerful. She talked about, you know, the thousands of people who die every year in the United States and how nicotine can get you hooked very, very quickly, okay. She talked about the various different cancers that you can get, you know, and the various other physical and mental diseases as well, the effect on the brain and the body. Then she moved on to talk about, you know, how people can actually get off cigarettes. Why people smoke. And they smoke because it's cool, or, you know, that nicotine is incredibly addictive. Then she finished off by talking about how we can get off cigarettes. There's two major ways. You can either give up by yourself, but that's really difficult to do. You have to be very motivated. Or you can do sort of medical therapy groups, use nicotine patches and so on. And she's concluded by saying people should consider it because of the very big health advantages of not smoking. So what I'm doing is I'm not reading off every single little thing there. I'm speaking for about a minute and I give an overview of what has been said. Okay, and this is one skill that you need to get quickly. Yeah? We don't want to have every single point in the lecture because we'll all get confused. Okay? So would anybody like to try again? Go on, Mick. Now try not to look at your notes, speak from your knowledge.
According to the lecturer, cigarette is #1 major problem worldwide. When someone get addicted to the cigarette, they will feel want more and more and very hard to escape. The rate of who using cigarette is men more than women and non-white more than white. And the last one is undergraduate from high school is more than graduate on high school. As we know that cigarette can cause many diseases to harm our health. Cigarette can cause lung cancer and problem with respiratory system on our body. I think now many important places like on the plane, on the bus, all ban cigarette smoking because the people around that area will get the smoke by passive smoker. Yes, that's it.
Okay, did you write that out? Did you actually write it out as a story?
No, I just summary it from my notes.
Okay, alright, yeah. Be very careful, everybody, not to write out a story because what you're going to do is try and repeat from memory. That's not knowledge, okay? And if I suddenly interrupt you halfway and say, oh, what about this? You won't be able to do it. Yeah? So memorization, no. Okay, so let's move on now. Mick has given us a bit of a summary there. I'd like to define some key terms. The first one I really want to define is nicotine. What exactly is nicotine?
Nicotine is substance that which mostly used in a cigarette. We put in cigarette and we crave it and addict it, and it's really harmful. It can affect to our brain intestine for last 8 to 16 hours, and it's really dangerous substance.
You said it's very addictive. How addictive is it?
Like we will feel crave to it, like one more and more. So it's really difficult to quit it.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Can anybody be more specific about how addictive it is?
It goes to your brain for 10 seconds to get you addicted, and then it will last for 10 and 15 hours.
Right, so it's that addictive. So that brings us to the word addiction. What do we mean by addiction? Anybody? What do we mean by addiction?
Addiction is when you increase the passion of desire to get it, officially more, not like regularly.
Such as, what else besides nicotine can make you addicted?
Alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
If you drink it more and more, then you become like a drinker, and you have to drink like. What I've experienced with my friends, they just drink after like dinner, and as time goes by, they need to drink like after every meals.
I see, right, okay, so they can't exist without it. So they develop something called a craving. And what do we mean by craving? Anybody? Craving?
Like craving is mean need more, want more, or we must have it.
Okay, fair enough.
Be dependent. To be dependent with it, like difficult to quit it. Like they want more and more, and they can't. If they don't take some nicotine, they feel really like annoying or upset, and they have to take it because it's really effective to our brain, and it makes us to like we have to take every day or something, like craving.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's move on to the main part of our discussion now, which is, should cigarettes be, we know that cigarettes are dangerous, but should they be there for people who want to smoke them, or should we ban them completely? So would anybody like to start? Would anybody like to give their point of view?
I think cigarettes should be banned because it can make many effects to people, such as lung cancer and heart disease, and maybe it can second hand to another people that beside you when you smoke.
Anybody like to continue that point?
But I disagree with her because, as you said, that it get lung cancer and stuff, but cigarette help people to relax themselves. For example, the story of Halima, she said that she smoked because of getting rid of nightmare and escape her of sorrow because her husband died. He was shot during the war. And also...
Was Halima a cigarette smoker?
Pardon?
Was she a cigarette smoker?
She's an opium smoker.
Right.
But still it's kind of same way because smoking and addicted to.
But why? How can you say that cigarettes and opium are the same? In what way are they the same?
They inhale and nicotine, I think.
Right.
Sorry, Mr. Sang, I disagree with you. According Mr. Julian Lasnavisit, in Thailand there are 40,000 people die per year by cigarette because cigarette very harmful. They can cause many disease to yourself, and it's a waste of money, I think. Thank you.
Sorry, I disagree with you. I think people should have cigarettes should not be banned because the people can have their own choice that they will be smoked or not to be smoked. Yeah, people should have their own right. Like cigarette have a lot of disadvantage way, but people still want to smoke it because some people addicted to it and really feel really hard to quit smoking. Yeah, so I think when people feeling hard to quit smoking, so they will have to buy it, and if the government ban the smoking, maybe will make the problem in the society.
Miss Om, how about other people that not smoke in public place?
I think maybe we should have the place for the people to smoke.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think we can ban the smoking. If you ban smoking, maybe like when smoking become illegal, I think people still smoking. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, they're still smoking and like buy it illegal, and maybe gangster become helpful and stuff in the society and cause problem more and more.
I disagree with because I think people should find another activity is good, not cigarette, such as play basketball or swimming. They can relax and they can enjoy activity with friends.
But I think people's lifestyle is different, so that's why some people don't have their own activity, like they don't play basketball or something like that. Yeah.
I agree with her because in the radio broadcasting field, he said that he never find the evidence of someone smoking and lead to another drug. That means cigarette can be only cigarette. So I think it's their right to smoke without getting other drugs, and it's a good thing because I think smoking is fine for everybody, but not too much, just enough to them.
Referring to that one, I'll try to keep this short. I'm agree with and Son for like their own choices. I would like to say again, it's not about adults, teenagers, kids. It's like everyone. Just think about like a business. Like the according to Bangkok Post, Mr. Duran had said that all the companies like tobacco companies have spent like millions but on advertising. It's not that right. They're not wrong for like advertise you for something just like to invite you to smoke. They already warn you in the commercial advertisement that it's going to be harmful to you, and like people take it by themselves. Referring to Miss Ice, it's harmful when smoking in public. Well, time change. We've got like place for smoker, like smoking zone in airplanes. We still got like smoking zone. So I think it's okay for everyone to follow that rules and respect each other's rights. Like if you're gonna smoke and the other don't, you just smoke, in the zone that you guys are smoking.
Okay, all right. So you feel that people have been warned enough about this, and they should be able to do it because, after all, why do people smoke? What's the reason?
I think in the teenager, they smoke because they think like, it's cool and it's a trend. They feel like they try to act like adult when they smoke, and their body become dependent, so it's hard to quit. So when they're growing up.
But do they do it because it's cool, or do people smoke for other reasons?
No, to reduce refresh.
Right.
Refresh.
So like alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And also, they follow the movie star.
Yeah.
According to lecture, she said that teenagers smoke because of their society, and to get cool, fashion.
Right. But I mean, people drink because it's fashionable. People take drugs because it's fashionable. People drive very fast because it's fashionable, like all young boys do. So what's the difference? Why is cigarettes so evil, and why should they be so banned when these other activities, like alcohol, driving fast, doing risky behaviour, any other risky thing? Why?
Maybe the tobacco company target about children and women. They advertise about flavor and scents that can attack women and child.
Okay, so you think that they're really trying to get vulnerable people. So it's different from alcohol, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Who does alcohol target?
Adult and teenager.
Really? What about Spy wine cooler? Is that adults?
Yeah, it's alcohol.
It's aimed at adults, is it? Not at teenagers?
Maybe